Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of FTB Beyond. In today's episode, we're going to be going back to our abandoned laboratory base. We haven't been working over there for a while. We got kind of sucked into Botania, and we are not done with Botania altogether. I did go ahead and tear down all my Botania stuff, but that's only because now that I've gotten into it far enough to get the cake flowers that generate the mana, I want to set up a more permanent location, because this wasn't exactly a good place for it, either functionally or, for that matter, for aesthetics. Like, it was just kind of all sitting out there in the open and looking bad. So at some point I want to make an actual, like, Botania area that you know, looks a lot. I want to have an area dedicated to Botania that looks cool, but we're not going to be working on that today. We are going to work on something a little bit different. So I've got a constant need for bones and bone meal. That's super important, because I've got a thingy. Where is it? I get so lost in this space. I think it's in here. Yeah, in here, I'm growing sunflowers, and I'm growing tons and tons and tons of sunflowers, which is fine, but the problem is I'm growing these sunflowers forever and ever and ever, and they're using all my bone meal, and they're using all of my bones. So one thing that I want to do right off the bat, before we do anything else today, is I'd like to set up a thing that turns that system off when there's a certain number of dyes, I think, in my system. Because ultimately my goal is to have yellow dye. That's why I'm making the sunflower. So if we look here, I've got like 121,000 dye. So I think what I'm going to do, let's go in here. Let's go to refine storage, and let's make oh, actually I don't even have to make one. I've already got a bunch. Sweet, even better. Okay, so let's see. There's the center. Let's just kind of hollow that out a little bit. Let's put our detector right here. And then we need to run a cable to it as well. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So let's just do that. There we go. So this thing should now be online. And we want to say emit a signal when above amount. We'll say above 10,000. And we'll grab yellow dye and turn that and put that in there. Okay? So basically this is going to say, hey detector, if there's more than 10,000 of these yellow dye in my system, emit a redstone signal. And then the redstone signal can be used to turn these guys off. So we'll say strong, strong, and strong. And then I think we need to change these always on, redstone off, I think? Yeah, redstone off. So basically, when these are receiving a redstone signal, they're not going to do anything. We're not going to use that bone meal, okay? So that's a start. And then the other thing that we need to do, which is kind of to go along with that, is we need to come down here to the basement floor, head into our auto crafting room, and one of these guys is making bone meal? I thought? Maybe? I thought one of them was making bone meal. How am I actually getting my bone meal? I'm not entirely sure. There has to be some way that I'm doing it. I don't know. Uh-oh. Let me see if I can figure that out, guys. I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, there we go. I found it. It was actually right next to me the entire time. So I changed this to off to activate right here. Ran a redstone conduit down to that as well. So basically, if there's more than 10,000 dye in the system, we're not going to make bone meal, and we're not going to use the bone meal on these yellow dyes. That'll therefore allow my system to fill up on bones and bone meal as needed. Rather than just having it go constantly, because I go through bones and specifically bones, because I'm crafting that bone meal and using it, I go through it so quick. It's just a little It's a little ridiculous. The crafter itself will still back up with a bunch of bones, but that's okay because our Woot mob farm is producing a ton of bones, so I'm not super worried about that. With that said, that Woot mob farm is great, but it only works for one type of mob at a time. So right now, it's harvesting regular skeletons. It's getting me tons of bones and regular skeleton drops. That means, however, that it is not harvesting, say, nether stars or ender dragon eggs or any of that kind of stuff. Like, it's not doing... It could be used to harvest much more high-value mobs, but because I need the bones, I have it running skeletons right now. So, I think what I want to do today is set up another mob farm, and this one's going to be more of a general purpose mob farm, so to speak. It's not going to deal with any one specific type of mob. It's going to deal with basically all the common mobs. That's... Oh, the silverfish. Silverfish are a thing. I forgot. I forgot we're in an Extreme Hills. They're everywhere. Are we good? I think we're good. Okay. Preparing for more silverfish? Yep. Go. Don't do it. Anyway, so let me dig out a little bit of an area here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's go to, say, there, and then we'll bring this out. We're at 5. Oh, I can't go any farther than that. That's too far. Mistakes were made. I broke things I didn't mean to. There we go. So that's all the farther out we're going to be able to go in that way, in that direction, and that's fine. I think this will be enough space. We can basically have like a little room and then have the room itself expand out a bit more. So let me get a few things ready, and then I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. We've got some work done. I went ahead and I dug out a room, and this is going to be the actual room itself, right? And then over here, this is going to be the mob killing chamber. So what I want to do is I want to get a fair amount of dirt here. Let's put that down. And then we'll use our super amazing, awesome builder's wand to cover the floor with dirt. Okay, then we're going to turn this, well, we're not going to yet, but eventually we're going to turn this into cursed earth. If we do it right now, stuff is going to start spawning like crazy, and we don't want that to happen while we're working on the farm. Obviously, that would complicate things. So that's the start, okay? Then what I want to do is over here, I want to make myself a fan, like so, and we'll put that guy down, okay? So this is going to blow all the mobs to one side, probably over here. Oh, but these have a limited range, don't they? Oh, I didn't think of that. Well, but then again, the distance upgrades increase the range by up to 10. I forget what the default range is. I know we checked this out earlier in the series and we learned it, but I forget. So let's do that. It blew me 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 5 blocks, right? Yeah. Yeah, it'll push you 5 blocks. So, yeah, if we put enough distance upgrades in it, we should still be fine. Although it would be kind of cool, come to think of it, if we had two fans, one pushing each direction, and we pushed all the mobs to the center? That would be cooler, I think. So let's maybe do that, because the thing is, we're going to have a window right here, right? Probably dark glass, some sort of glass that doesn't allow light through. And it would be cool to see all the mobs getting killed. Because if they all get killed over there, we'll be able to see it, but not as well. So I think I prefer to push everything in to the side. That would be much cooler. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so now we need to find the center, which is about here. And there's a cable directly above me. Of course there is. How can we move this cable a little bit? I think we can. Let's just kind of scoot it off in this direction instead. Cables, please. Thank you. There we go. And let's just bring you off over here, like so. That should accomplish essentially the same purpose, but allow us to have access to what we need over here instead. Good. Okay. So, get rid of you. You're the center right here. This is our Woot mob farm directly above us. So both of our mob farms are actually kind of in the same area. Now, the reason I want to do that is because I want to have lights in here. Okay, so we'll have these red fallout lights, and we'll maybe put one, two, three, maybe one here. Is that in line? Yeah. Awesome. So maybe put one there and one there. And that way, we'll have these on a redstone switch of some sort, so we can turn the farm on and off. I bet some of you just lost your mind. And you almost just did it again. But I'm just messing with you. There we go. Now it's centered. Okay, but this way we can turn the farm on and off. Because if there is light in here, mobs will not spawn. So I think that will shed enough light that the whole thing will be properly lit up. I guess we'll find out when we test it. Okay, so next step. We need a way to kill the mobs. And the other problem too is that these mobs will get blown in this direction, but they won't necessarily end up in the middle right here. Let's see, how could we do that? Maybe what we could do, Dark Utilities has these vector plates that do not prevent mobs from spawning. So we could potentially do something like this. Just right here, right? Is this making any sense? Maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll put like a distance upgrade in each one. They'll get blown. Yeah, that should do. Okay, so then what we'll do is we'll take this guy. These are mob mashers from the mob grinding utils mod, and they're pretty useful. However, it appears that I'm going to need, let's see, three iron swords will make 4 spikes. I need 2. Yeah, so basically I'm going to need a bunch of iron swords. Okay, let me get 4 of these crafted up, and then I'll be back with you. Okay, so those are crafted up, and they look pretty sweet. You gotta admit, that's a cool look. that's a pretty cool look. Now, with that said, I'm thinking we want our collection system in here as well. So I think we're gonna put a thing here. Ooh, actually, would these look cooler? It does look a little bit cooler when they're sticking sideways, I gotta say. That looks pretty cool too. But like, that's our grinder, right? So these will damage mobs, and as long as this thing is powered, which it will be, which will be easy, as long as this thing is properly powered, we should be good. Now, we need a way to collect the items, and I'm thinking maybe we just go with a void, or a vacuum chest? Absorption hopper. The absorption hopper is basically the vacuum hopper from old versions of Minecraft, but I want to say the vacuum chest is a little faster. I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's try making... Oh, dang it. Pulsating crystal, please. Thank you. And vacuum chest. Okay, so let's put this guy right here. Okay, and then we'll say show range. Let's dial that range back a bit. Oh, but that goes up then for several blocks as well. Although, you know what? That's not a big deal. That should be fine because it's only going to collect actual items that are out and about. And I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, we can make this 6, I think. That should still be okay. Although, then again, if we dial it back to here, like all the items should land in this area, I would think. Let's maybe go 4. Let's bring it out to 4, and that should be plenty. Okay, so hide the range, always active. That's all good. Okay, and then we'll end up probably bringing item conduit straight up and using conduit facades to disguise them as something different is what I'm thinking. So now what we need to do is wire up a couple things because this thing, which, let's do this. Let's go like that. That way I can actually find the one I'm looking for. Mob grinder. Aha! That's right. We have a vacuum chest now. If we put that here, that mob grinder right here needs to be powered. So let me run some redstone conduits to get this all sorted out, and then I'll be back. Okay, guys, I am back. I think I have all the wiring finished. So essentially, we have 3 sections right here, right? We've got our red, we've got our green, and we've got our blue, not brown. That was supposed to be blue. And each one of those is going to work on a different thing. So, red right here. I guess I'll just do that. Red will activate the mob masher grinder things. Okay? Green is going to activate the fans. And blue it is supposed to activate the lights. Lights. Why you no work? Ah, that's why. I see. Bam! Blue activates the lights. See? I am a genius of all things technical. So, that's basically how that works. I've got some conduit facades here. Item conduit. Bunch of speed upgrades. We'll suck everything up into this chest. Then I'm going to apply a importer to import that stuff into my refined storage system, but I want to do it in such a way that it only takes the useful stuff and doesn't take all the junk. Or I'll do another item conduit that will automatically dispose of the junk and send it to a garbage can, much like we did right here. In fact, I can actually probably make use of this garbage can. So good stuff will go into the refined storage system. Bad stuff will not go into the refined storage system. So that's basically the plan. So at this point, the next step I think is we need to get our upgrades built. For the fan upgrades, I'm going to need 3 width upgrades for each one, and it looks like I'm really low on feathers. So I think what I'm going to have to do is head off into the world and go find some chickens and hunt some feathers. I don't think there's any other way to get feathers. Let's just see. Is there? No, basically just chickens, and that's basically it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go feather hunting. I'm going to go chicken hunting, and woe betide any chicken that I come across. Okay, so many murdered chickens later, I think I should have enough feathers to do what I need to do here. So let's head back and let's see if we can get some of these upgrades made. First and foremost, we need six of these. There we go. And then this is at mob. Okay, and then I want some upgrades for our mob mashers as well. We definitely want the looting upgrades. That's very useful. These are a max of 10. I'm going to make, let's see, we've got 4 mob mashers, so I want 40 of those, like so. Smite, I'm not worried about. Fire aspect, I don't want. Radius. Absorption radius. What? Oh, is there actually like a collection thing within? Oh, no. It's for the okay. Yeah, I see. Gotcha. Beheading, I'm not going to worry about. So we're just going to stick with these, and I'm going to need 40 of these guys. So that means I need to make like all the iron swords that ever did iron sword. I need so many of these things because 10 upgrades and each one of them requires 4 iron swords. That's crazy. But we've got the iron for it. We've got the resources for it, so it'll be fine. Okay, I think we've done it. So in here, we're going to toss our width modifiers so that these guys are wide enough to blow all the mobs in this direction. And then into each of these, we're going to put 10 mashers and 10 sharpness upgrades. And that should make these guys kill the mobs super quickly and create lots of drops, which is also very good. So now I think the last thing we need to do is, well, we still got to work out this little part here, but we'll get there. Actually, we should probably do that before we apply the drop of evil. So this was our masher, this was our fans, and this was our lights, if I remember correctly. So let's just grab a couple signs real quick, and I'm just going to put temporary signs up here. We'll say masher, fans, and lights. Okay, so that way we know what's actually there, because that's moderately important. Then let's grab these guys. There we go. We'll put those here, and I want screens from RF tools. Here we go. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then if we go to modules, we'll see a whole bunch of different modules for these screens. The one I'm looking for is the redstone module, and we're going to want 3 of those. So 2. What am I? I'm missing redstone torches. I always run out of redstone torches. I should really just add those into my list of things that I always keep in my system. So red. Okay, and we'll say label lights positive on, and we'll say green, no, off, red. Okay, and let's center that. Now, that reminds me, I do need to go to my elevator, and we got to find out, are they in range? Yes, they are. Good. Okay, so now those screens should actually be on, otherwise they won't work properly. But here we go. So lights right here, block. Oh, and we need to Yeah. Okay, so let's take this. And what we need to do is like shift right click this. This block specifically. We put this sign here. And then we say lights on. Okay. Sneak right click on a redstone transmitter or receiver to any block. Oh, no. That's not what I want, though. Is it a button module? Maybe this wasn't the right module. Button, elevator button. I thought there was one that would basically work as like a lever. Because this button module... Maybe this is the one I need. Hold on. Let's try this and let's just see. Does the button module work? Will it work as a lever? Button? Toggle? Maybe? Button color? Yes? Maybe? Oh, because... I hate the fact that as soon as you take the screen off... Scan. There we go. As soon as you break the screen, you have to go back and scan for it again. I wish that thing would just, like, automatically scan. But, yeah, here we go. So if I hit this, module is not linked to a redstone channel. Okay. I mean, for now... You know what? I'll mess around with that more later. What we're going to do, just as a temporary solution, I'll mess with those more later. But for now, I'm just going to grab 3 levers like so. And we'll go 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, lights on. Fans on. Mashers on. Okay? You can see that's all good. We'll turn the mashers and the fans off. I do still need to deal... with that. We'll do that shortly. Let's put this stuff away. Let's grab some factory blocks like so. And then we get to do the fun part. Ooh, before I do that though, dark glass. We need dark clear glass, dark ineffable glass. How do I make regular dark glass? Thickened glass. And dye. Thickened glass is sand and glass, basically. Okay, that should be doable. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, essentially. Okay, cool. Let me get that made. Okay, I'm back. So we're good there. We've got our thickened glass. And then we need ink sacs, like so. And that will make... 26? That's more than I needed, but that's okay. I've also got a couple of these moonstones from extra utilities. And what we're going to do is make dark ineffable glass. And what this is, it's pretty cool, actually. It will prevent light from being able to come through, and it will prevent mobs from being able to come through. So you can see it's now completely dark in there, but a player... can just walk right through it, which is pretty awesome. So if I need to do any maintenance or anything like that, I can just come right in, no problem, and it's all good. So now the last thing we need to do is add our drops of evil so that these things will properly spawn mobs like crazy. Okay, so turn off the lights. And bam, bam, bam. You should see mobs going crazy. Masher on, fans on. They're all going to get sent to the middle. And that should basically be the end of all these guys. They'll just get slaughtered very quickly. I just realized, though, there is one very large problem with our plan. And that is all of this XP. Oh, yeah. That was a creeper. That was a creeper who exploded and destroyed my vacuum chest and my mob masher? Okay, I think we are recovered. Ah, man, that was annoying. That's all right, though. Ooh, I also just realized that this is still up here. What kind of loot are we getting? Lots of junk. So we need to set that up, too. Importer, right? Yes. So let's get rid of you for a minute. Let's go here. And let's say I only want certain things to import. Okay. So, ooh, and then what we'll do, item filter, like so. And we're just going to kind of bring one of those over here, change this to extract, throw the filter in blacklist, and we'll blacklist certain items. Really, I'm interested in bones, string, gunpowder. So bone, string, gunpowder. Add those over here as well. Right? Certain items I do want. Certain items I don't really care. In fact, a lot of this stuff I don't really care. Spider eyes, sure, why not? Don't really care about the rest of this stuff, to be honest. The rest of this is pretty much whatever. Yeah, the rest of it, I don't really care. I can always add it later. I know that we're gonna miss out on some good things like mob heads and stuff like that, but you know, it's okay. I can live with that. So what we need is more speed upgrades. And then we're also going to want a stack upgrade for this. So we'll go like that. We go speed upgrades here. We change that to insert, and that should drain this chest as soon as I change this to always. Okay, so the stuff we want will get brought into the system. The stuff we don't want will get kicked out of the system. That's good. And then we'll take our factory block here and put you right there. What in the world? That's another creeper. Get out, get out, get out, get out. Okay. Fans lights. Wow. That was very close. I don't know. These lights are not completely sufficient, it appears. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do with the XP portion of this. But guys, I am most certainly out of time for this episode, so we'll have to do that some other time. My friends, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I do appreciate it, and it really helps out my channel. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. There are links in the video description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you next time.